I never expected to uncover heartbreaking secrets of love and loss in Pompeii's ancient brothel. I will never forget the day everything fell apart. The sun hung low in the sky, casting eerie shadows among the ruins. I walked through the crumbling walls, each step echoing my heartbeat. My fingers grazed the rough stone, feeling the whispers of time. The air was thick with history, ancient laughter, desperate sighs, and unspeakable sorrows. There, in the dark recesses of the brothel, I found a place lost in time. The walls were adorned with faded frescoes, capturing moments of passion and despair. A woman, her gaze pleading, reached out from the plaster, as if begging for rescue. I shivered, a chill running down my spine. It smelled of dust and secrets. With each breath, I felt that suffocating weight, stories longing to be told. I glimpsed objects left behind, ceramic vessels, tarnished coins, remnants of a life lived in shadows. Who were these people? What dreams did they clutch, only to have them shattered? My mind raced. My great-grandmother had always spoken of Pompeii. Her voice was a hollow echo of loss. She said there were stories that could weave generations together, binding love and heartache across time. Suddenly, this place felt familiar. I was unearthing my own family's past, but just as hope ignited within me, something shifted. I stumbled upon a small, hidden alcove. It held more objects, a cracked mirror, a delicate necklace painted with a portrait of a young man. My heart raced. Who was he? Faces from my family's history flashed before my eyes, but I couldn't place him. The vibrant life he once lived felt so close, yet so tragically out of reach. Then I heard whispers. Low, urgent sounds that wrapped around me, pulling me deeper. I pressed myself against the wall, trying to silence my breathing. Fear curled tight in my chest. Were they spirits? Lost souls seeking to reveal their truths? My trembling hands reached for my phone, the artificial light a contrast to this ancient darkness. Suddenly, I was not alone. 2 local guides appeared, their eyes wide with excitement. You found something special, one of them murmured, his voice quivering. They say the spirits here hold their breath, waiting for someone to listen. My heart pounded louder. What were they hiding? Had I unwittingly uncovered the deepest shadows of a lost love? I looked at them, searching for answers. But before I could ask, one of them stepped forward. He leaned closer, a knowing glint in his eyes. There's more to this place than meets the eye. Will you take the risk to find out, or will you let their secrets die with you? I stood frozen, the shadows closing in. What would my heart choose? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The air thickened with tension as the guides exchanged glances, their excitement mixing with a sense of foreboding. I could feel the weight of their words pressing against my chest, urging me to leap into the abyss of history, yet fear clung tightly to my ankles, anchoring me in the present. Just think, the other guide chimed in, his enthusiasm palpable. You could rewrite a fragment of history that has long been dormant. The necklace, the mirror, they might hold the key to understanding who they were, to finding out what they suffered or cherished. But what if unearthed truths led to heartbreak? I thought of my family, secrets woven tightly into the fabric of our lineage. Did my great-grandmother speak of pain not just because it was inevitable, but because she, too, had faced unspoken tragedies rooted deep within our past? Are you willing to take that risk? My voice came out steadier than I felt, each word forming a bridge between hesitation and the yearning to uncover what lay beneath the surface. The guides nodded, their eyes gleaming with shared commitment. It felt like we had entered into an unspoken pact, tethered by a quest for answers. With bated breath, I followed them further into the brothel's depths, every step igniting more curiosity than fear. The alcove opened into a small chamber, its walls adorned with remnants of painted figures, their expressions frozen mid-laughter, mid-sob. It was a collage of human intimacy, where every brushstroke seemed charged with emotion. I felt an inexplicable pang in my heart. It was as if the souls caught in this ancient gallery were begging for acknowledgement, for their stories to be seen. My discovery of the cracked mirror drew me in again, its surface odd and shimmering, as if it held echoes of the lives it had once reflected. "Do you think it's possible," I asked, my voice trembling, "that these objects could tell us more about what happened here? About their loves lost?" The guides exchanged thoughtful looks. "Every artifact here has its story," one replied quietly. "But sometimes, the most powerful truths are the ones left unsaid." A thought struck me. What if the lost love I was reaching for was not just a reflection of a stranger's heartache but a mirror to my own? I recalled moments of my life of fleeting romance, the pain of unfulfilled dreams. Perhaps there were fragments of my own story woven among these ancient secrets. Suddenly, I felt an unfamiliar warmth surge through my hand as I brushed against the necklace again. I turned it over, revealing an inscription that had gone unnoticed amidst the centuries of dust. It whispered softly in Latin, "Amor vincit omnia, love conquers all." Tears threatened my eyes at the poignant reminder. If only that were true. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows, an unexpected warmth enveloped me, a sense of connection. Though surrounded by heartache, here, in this place of loss, there was also an inexplicable hope that thrummed in the air like a distant song. "Let us not stop here," I said, emboldened by this flicker of warmth and buoyed by the guide's encouraging nods. Together, we scoured the remnants, piecing together fragments of stories, filling the silence with voices from long ago. Every find made my heart race. With each object, I imagined lives intertwining in this forgotten world, a tapestry of joy and sorrow spun with every heartbeat. But as we turned to leave the chamber, a faint sound echoed, a whisper clear as day. "Help us!" It pierced through the silence, a desperate plea sneaking into the corners of my mind, settling like an unwelcome guest. My pulse quickened. Who called out in such anguish? "Did you hear that?" I gasped, looking at the guides, my heart pounding. Confusion washed over their features. "Hear what?" they asked, their brows furrowing. I hesitated, a chill creeping into my bones. I could feel it thrumming just beneath the surface, the weight of history pressing down. It was almost as if the spirits were watching, waiting for someone to decode their sorrow. What if their pain was anchored to unresolved threads in the tapestry of my own family? As doubt loomed, one of the guides reached toward the scratched mirror, his hand trembling. "Sometimes, the dead don't rest until their stories are told." A sudden shiver traced my spine. What lay ahead could unearth my family's darkest secrets or bind us closer than ever before. I wasn't sure which terrified me more, and as the whisper echoed again, "Help us," I felt the fabric of my reality start to unravel. The weight of an ancestral calling wrapped around my heart like a shroud, urging me to heed the cries of the past. What had I unearthed, and would I have the courage to face its shadowy depths? I took a deep breath that felt like a step into the unknown, staring ahead into a darkness that promised shocking revelations yet to come. The air grew thicker as we stepped back from the alcove, the reverberating whisper still echoing in the corners of my mind. I clutched the necklace tightly, the inscription glowing red-hot against my palm, a constant reminder of the entangled fates I was beginning to comprehend. Each guide continued to scrutinize the remnants around us, but my attention was pulled inward, wrestling with the heavy call of the past. "Maybe it was just the wind," one of the guides suggested, but his voice lacked conviction. I couldn't shake the cold grip of urgency woven into those words, "Help us," that wrapped around me like a vine, inching closer and tighter. The deeper I ventured into this decrepit monument of love and despair, the more I felt my own heartache tethered to stories unrevealed. There was a silence in that chamber now, it was charged, a lull before an incoming storm. I could practically hear the brushstrokes of lost lives under the pressing weight of their histories, craving liberation. Humans were meant to connect, to share in each other's burdens, yet here we stood, a tangible barrier between their cries and the world outside. No, I whispered to myself, a pledge more than an admission. I wouldn't run from this. A pulse of determination throbbed in my chest. Did any of you see what was beneath that smeared painting? I blurted, part desperation, part clarity. The guides exchanged startled looks, pep in their steps suddenly palpable, and one nodded sharply before guiding us back to the devalued artistry. Together, we inspected the corner, chipping away layers of dust and soot until, at last, words formed beneath the grime. With each flake that fell, snippets of an ancient love letter were revealed. The romantic scrawl, a lover's promise, subtle yet impassioned. "There is something here," I murmured, my heart racing as I grasped the parchment material, now fragile and fading. The ink had nearly turned to ghost-like wisps, but the sentiment seeped through the decay, echoing deeper, "If I don't return, know that love will always bind us, no matter the distance between life and death." Those words sent a jolt through me, they felt achingly familiar. I flashed back to the arguments shared with my own partner, those tender moments drowned out by discord. Love was indeed a fragile thread that held together the beautiful and the broken, a truth that never seemed fair. A slight shuffling caught my attention, and I turned to find one of the guides, a deep frown etched on his brow. "It almost feels like they're watching us," he whispered, his eyes flickering up towards the painted figures on the walls. It was a suspicion that resonated in my very bones, as if the ancient souls were desperate for acknowledgement, for compassion. They longed to reach across time's vast chasm. The moment was interrupted by another voice from deep within the shadows. "Help us!" It resonated again, more desperate this time, and my blood ran cold as I felt the chill wrap around my spine like fingers tracing a line drawn long before our time. "They need something," I stammered, grasping for clarity. Maybe. The hopeful guide stepped forward cautiously. "They require closure, justice for their fragmented tales." I swallowed hard, my throat dry. "But how can we give it to them if we don't fully understand their stories?" I dared to ask, a tremor of uncertainty quaking through my resolve. Those words became the catalyst for a decision that bound our fates as if spun from the very silk of the love we had unearthed. Together, we sat on the cool stone floor, absorbing the energy that swirled around us. Small moments of unity transpired, the way our hands brushed while sharing the artifacts, or how a guide softly offered me a comforting glance as I recited the love letter's promise, an aching cry for those who had been absorbed into the annals of time. In those fleeting moments, unbearable warmth sprang forth. An invisible thread began to weave between three strangers, igniting a bond strong enough to momentarily transcend the bond of historical grief. Here, amidst tears of sorrow and shards of hope, I found myself fighting for those uncounted souls. Just as doubt began to melt and promises felt tangible, the darkness thickened. A sudden tremor shot through the ground beneath us, the walls pulsed as if disturbed from a long slumber. "What is happening?" one guide shouted, the strained timbre of his voice rebounding against stone and dust. My instincts screamed that something monumental was about to occur. The air crackled with energy, amplifying the whispers of "help us" in a cacophony that grew louder, insistent. Louder. I implored, my voice rising above the chaos. "We're listening. What do you need from us?" But suddenly, the darkness deepened, and from the shadows, a figure emerged, a faint silhouette, glowing amid the rubble. I clutched the necklace tighter, heart pounding, my breath hitching in my throat. The apparition seemed ethereal, alive yet lost, a figure torn from oblivion. The guides froze, staring ahead, a look of awe and terror mingling in their eyes. It had come, our intersecting lifetimes meeting at last. "Who are you?" I whispered, fear and longing swirling within me in equal measure as the figure began to speak, a low, sorrowful murmur that quickly infiltrated the air. What secrets would be revealed? What heartaches might shatter in the bonds connecting us? In that moment, time itself stood still, the echoes of the past intertwining with our future as I prepared to face whatever heart-wrenching truth would penetrate this fragile sanctuary. As the figure loomed over us, a chilling silence enveloped the room, a tension charged with the echoes of unfulfilled promises. The light surrounding it pulsated, casting long shadows against the ancient stone walls. I felt my heart race, an insistent drumming that matched the faint whispers that tangled around us, weaving through the fabric of time like a highly strung bow. ready to snap. As the apparition transitioned from mere shadow into something more corporeal, a captivating array of features emerged, the lines of despair etched into its ethereal visage, eyes framed with an infinite depth of longing. It shimmered as if caught between worlds, an embodiment of all the sorrow and passion that this monument had witnessed over centuries. In an instant, my resolve hardened. I refused to let fear take hold. The aching need to understand the fragments of this soul echoed my own heart's turmoil. "What do you wish to tell us?" I urged, my voice trembling yet unwavering. The guides remained frozen, unwilling or unable to breach the gap between the conscious and the spectral. The figure hesitated, and for a terrifying moment, I thought it might fade back into shadows, lost once more to the relentless undertow of time. But then it spoke, its voice a translucent whisper that twined around us like tendrils of mist. "You seek to understand, to uncover. But knowledge comes at a price, dear heart. The pain you ponder will reverberate with your own. Are you ready to face it?" I felt a shudder ripple through the group, a collective intake of breath as the weight of its words sunk in. They were not just relics of the past, they were mirrors reflecting our own vulnerabilities, our own fears, and the specter of love that clung to each of us, fragile yet potent. "I am ready," I declared, though uncertainty quivered in my chest. "We're all struggling with our burdens. Tell us your truth, we will listen." I glanced at the guides around me, their faces pale but determined reflections of a shared resolution that took root in the face of adversity. With a soft sigh, the figure began recounting its tale. "In life, I was Lucretia, bound here by love and desire, yet suffocated by betrayal." Each word resonated with layers of anguish that seemed to intertwine with my own soul's narrative. "He promised me the stars but walked away to chase shadows. I was left behind, my heart trapped in the relics of a life unlived, encased in the very walls that observe your pain now." As the story unfolded, I felt the harmony between her experiences and the kaleidoscope of emotions that clouded my heart: the regret for lost moments, the yearning for reconciliation, the resets that never came in time to stem the tide of hurt. I wanted to reach out, to comfort her, to say the words that had never escaped my lips in life's spiraling misunderstandings, things left unspoken. "Can love truly transcend betrayal?" I questioned softly, the weight of her sorrow embedding with the heavy ache I carried for the words unvoiced in my own relationship, the arguments that spun from the simplest misunderstandings, the tenderness marred by doubt. She met my gaze, and in that moment, I glimpsed the depth of her despair and resilience. "Love give wings, but betrayal clips them," she replied, each word imbued with both wisdom and anguish. "But healing is both a choice and a journey. To create anew can be rebirth, a chance to mend what was broken, yet fear lingers still." I shivered as the specter shifted, its luminosity dimming, the shadows closing in around it as if sensing an impending departure. "You must confront the truths you fear. The reckoning between connection and distance arrives when you awaken to what has been hidden." A tremor shook the chamber as if the stones themselves echoed her warning. The dark corners vibrated with energy, and my heart raced while apprehension clawed at my throat. What did she mean? What did I still have to face? "You want closure for us," Lucretia intoned, "unresolvable longing for both your journeys. But you must seek your own peace first." A scream ripped from my throat. Raw and unwieldy as panic struck. The room began to whirl, blurring the edges of reality, a storm of shadows pulling us into chaos. The ghost pressed its palm forward, eyes wide with an urgency that mirrored my own fear. "Follow the thread of your history," she commanded, "unravel it before it consumes you, before it is too late." And then she faded, the last flicker of light extinguished in a heartbeat, a quiet anguish lingering in the air, a promise yet unfulfilled. The room fell silent, leaving us grappling in the wake of revelations wrought in spectral whispers. My heart thundered in the aftermath, the enormity of Lucretia's words crashing over me like waves. I felt raw, exposed, teetering on the precipice of not just her pain, but my own unweaved truths. "I don't understand," I choked out, turning to the startled guides, searching their eyes for clarity, for understanding. But they too were lost in the intertwining of moments, a tapestry of grief, love, and a future coated in heaviness. Like a final breath, the air shifted, the whispers morphed into a haunting refrain, thickening with sadness and potential. Something dark loomed overhead, ready to descend before we could fully comprehend the gravity of our encounters. And then, in that agonizing moment of stillness, I knew I was on a journey not just to understand Lucretia's suffering, but to confront the buried shadows of my own heart. I had uncovered fragments of her truth, but in threading the bond, I had potentially unspooled a deeper horror, one that threatened to unravel my existence altogether. Before I could articulate any of it, a spectral chill wrapped around us, reinvigorated, driving home the urgency of her final words. The walls trembled in recognition, and a new voice echoed in the silence, a familiar, male tone. "Help me." I knew that voice. It was intimate yet laced with despair, a sound that struck a chord deep within my heart, sending shockwaves coursing through my veins. My breath caught painfully, and the weight of realization crashed down. Who had I just summoned? What truth lay entwined in the spectral ties of love, lies, and betrayal? I stared into the expanding shadows, heart racing, eyes wide as the consequence of our awakening bore down on us. The walls trembled as the familiar voice echoed again, a desperate plea woven with an intimate urgency that sent chills racing down my spine. "Help me." It was the kind of call that stirred memories long buried, awakening passions I thought I had locked away. "Jason." My voice trembled, barely breaking the heavy silence that enveloped the room. I struggled to center myself amidst the chaos that had unfurled. The spectre's tragic tale still reverberated in my chest, intertwining with fear for what Jason might be facing. I braced against the stone wall, the coolness grounding me in a torrent of emotion, but the darkness was thickening, coiling around us, exposing all of our vulnerabilities as the chamber morphed into a shrine of unfulfilled desires. Each heartbeat resonated with unresolved threads, love intertwined with sorrow binding me to both Lucretia's past and Jason's present. That I looked to the others, searching their faces, but their expressions mirrored the turmoil that churned within my mind. A flicker of recognition passed over the guide, Marisol's eyes widening in horror. "No. It can't be," she breathed, her voice barely a whisper. "Not him." "What do you mean?" I pressed, feeling the weight of the moment press down on my shoulders. The urgency crackled in the air, but no one spoke, all eyes fixated on the expanding shadows in front of us. Marisol took a shaky step back. "He's been lost here, trapped between realms. If we don't act quickly," her voice faltered, the fear tangible in the air. "Trapped?" I felt my heart sink, the weight of sadness anchoring me to the spot. "But how? We need to help him." The desperation surged within me, a stark contrast to Lucretia's plight resounding in the back of my mind. This was deeper than stories, it was a call to mend the fractures that clung to our spirits. Marisol stepped forward, fingers trembling as she gestured for us to form a circle. "We must confront the roots of his tragedy. Only then can we bring him back." She met my gaze, the sincerity in her eyes both a beacon and a burden. "It requires more than just listening. We must own our histories, embrace our fears." This echoes Lucretia's warning, we cannot skirt around the truths. It felt ludicrous to think any of us were equipped to face such darkness, but here I was, wild with the desire to reach out to Jason, feeling the pull of our shared memories, the alignment of kindred spirits shrouded in pain. I could not falter now. With a deep breath, I blinked back the spiraling emotions and nodded. "Let us do this." The strength in my voice surprised even me, underscoring the sheer necessity driving me forward. Together, we came together, forming a ring of defiance against the encroaching dread. I could feel the ancient stones beneath our feet, the grounding weight of history pulsing through the ground, mirroring the beats of our hearts. "Close your eyes," Marisol instructed, her voice calm yet firm. "Focus on the thread that binds you to him. Feel his presence. And call to the truths that must come to light." I shut my eyes, letting memories swirl like autumn leaves around me. Jason laughing, the warmth of his embrace, the quiet moments where we shared everything and nothing at the same time. But with those memories came fragments of pain, the arguments that left scars and unresolved words that hung like ghosts between us. "Jason, I'm here, I whispered into the silence, extending my heart like a beacon through the fog. The air thickened, dragging me deeper into the unknown. I concentrated harder, pulling at the threads of our fabric, forcing them to intertwine like they once had. "Please," I breathed. "Find your way back." A sudden gust of wind swept through the chamber, rustling the edges of the shadows before dissipating into cold nothingness. I fought the chilling grip on my heart, focusing intently, as whispers crept through the room, familiar, vivid. The voice grew stronger, tugging at my essence, wrapping mundane reality with ethereal threads. "Help me." His voice wove through the darkness, laced with desperation, and for a heartbeat, everything went still. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted within our circle, and I squinted through my closed eyelids. The warmth enveloped me, exploding with colors that seemed to pulse with our collective will. Every fiber of my being screamed for clarity, connection. The radiant glow illuminated the room, and I felt Jason's presence fuse alongside the spectral tone of Lucretia. Together they began to form an intricate tapestry of pain and love, where their energies seemed to blend, creating a harmony that defied all that had come before. "Can you hear me?" I called out, opening my eyes wide, desperately scouring the light for a sign of him. "What binds you to this place?" "Fear," came Jason's voice, resounding and authentic, yet just beyond the reach of my fingertips. "Regret, so many things left unsaid. The weight of my choices, and there it was, a mirror reflecting my struggles, intertwining our stories in a dance of heartbreak woven through time. The shadows loomed larger now, cracking and splitting as we bore witness to the raw vulnerability of souls grappling with their histories. "Then let it go," I cried, feeling the urge to shatter the distance. "We can overcome this together." I felt the guide's gazes bearing down on me, a mix of fear and hope, but I pressed on, my heart throbbing with an intensity matched only by the flames of longing. "Love can prevail over all," I shouted into the radiance, urging life back into the specters. The golden light surged with energy, wrapping around us, binding, emboldening. Then, as if crossed by an unyielding wind, the light pulsed again, a violent riot of color that ruptured through the shadows, casting figures dancing in its embrace as the temperatures around us rose and fell like a tide. "We must remember," Marisol's voice interjected, strong yet filled with an underlying timbre of concern. "Return to the fractured pieces of your hearts. Speak them aloud and know you are not alone in this battle." And then, as I searched for Jason's essence amid the brilliant chaos, I felt the pull of a deeper shadow lurking just beyond the edge of light, one that did not belong to either me or Lucretia. It wove closer, ominously, entwining itself with our energies as if waiting to balance light with its own dark reckoning. "Trust the connection," a figure shimmered through the brilliance, a distortion of conflict, an intertwining bond. Then, the light dulled momentarily, revealing a face I never expected to see, one that belonged to a past I thought I had long buried. "Why did you leave?" The familiar face hovered between fear and longing, but the clarity gripped me and shattered any remnants of denial. "I couldn't save you then, but I can now." A gasp escaped me as I turned. The chasm between our fates, our histories, yawned open, leading to a revelation binding us together at a crossroads once more. And the truth simmered dangerously at the edges of the unclaimed light, a history that would change everything I thought I understood about love, loss, and the paths we take. "Help me," Jason's ethereal echo fell into darkness, dwindling just as the light swayed unpredictably. I knew I was standing at a precipice, the weight of my genuflection brushing against my heart's deepest truths. What lay at the core of it all had never been merely about uncovering Lucretia's story, but unleashing the very secrets that bound Jason, my past longing, and an unexpected new fate into something irretrievably entangled. In that moment, I realized that as we navigated through the whispered promises thick with echoes of betrayal, one heart could carry multiple fractures. Yet it could just as easily yield to healing, igniting the embers of hope if only we dared to face the bindings head-on, and with that fragile thread of conviction, I was ready to confront what lay ahead, even if it led back to the heartbreak that had once defined us. As the echoes of Jason's plea hung in the air, I was paralyzed by a fresh wave of fear. The revelation of the familiar face, entwined with my past and layered in heartache, forced my thoughts into chaos. It was as if the chamber itself held its breath, waiting for me to make sense of this unraveling tapestry of sorrow and love spun across time. "Get away!" I shouted, instinctively stumbling back, a protective instinct flaring within me. My heart raced. Could it be true that this long-buried moment in my past harbored something so malignant? The specter radiated familiarity but twisted into something more ominous. Did this apparition harbor secrets that went far deeper than mere memories? "Please," it implored, its voice tinged with desperation. "You need to understand." The figure drew closer, the light flickering as shadows stretched and contorted around us, creating an arena of tumultuous emotions. "Who are you?" I demanded, struggling to gather my voice, my heart beating a frantic rhythm against my ribcage. "What do you want?" "I'm not here to hurt you, but to help you see." The figure stepped into the glow, revealing a face I had loved fiercely once, a visage that had haunted my dreams and made my waking moments a battlefield of unspoken words. It was Alex, the fallen knight of my youth, who had left an indelible mark on my heart. "Why now?" I brought my hands to my head, anxiety threatening to split me in two. "You chose to walk away, to leave me mired in grief and confusion." "Because I knew it would hurt you," Alex replied, his voice unwavering as he reached out, hovering in the space only ghosts could dare to tread. "But I didn't leave willingly. I was taken from you, ripped away by choices that forced my hand. I had to protect you." "Protect me?" My voice was thick with disbelief, every syllable heavy as it spilled out between clenched teeth. "You should have trusted me, Alex. We could have faced anything together." "I didn't have a choice," he insisted, searching my eyes for an understanding that felt just within reach but maddeningly elusive. "Just like you don't have a choice now. You're standing on the edge of a precipice, a cycle of pain and connection that wraps around us all." The chamber shifted, the colors dimming as the weight of his words bore down on me. The ancient stones felt alive, swirling with the energy of both my love and my loss, weaving them into an intricate design of fate I could barely comprehend. But the warmth of Jason's plea broke through my defiance, threading through the air and snapping me back to the present. "Jason!" I gasped, reaching out toward the encroaching shadows. "He's trapped here. No matter the regrets and heartbreak, the truth doesn't lie within just you and me, Alex. It expands far beyond." Alex's gaze darkened, the remnants of the boy I once knew trading places with the ghostly sorrow of a spirit drawn into an endless cycle. "You think I don't know that?" He turned, the shadows twisting into haunting echoes of loss, each whisper a reminder of a moment snuffed out too soon. "If you continue to delve into the past, that darkness will consume you both. You must gather strength from this moment, from your heart, and accept that there are truths we can't change. Then let me change them." My voice rose, fueled by the yearning to break free from the shackles of fear and inertia. "Help me remember the love we once shared before everything fractured." "I can't," he whispered, a veil of sorrow cloaking him as he stepped backward into the mist that was beginning to swirl around him. "But you can." The light flickered, the room pulsing like a living entity drawn into the gravitas of unresolved histories. It became evident that I floated within an ocean of choices, a cascade of heartache and desperate hope. I glanced at Marisol and the rest of the group, their faces reflecting a mixture of awe and terror as they bore witness to this unfolding narrative that could shatter or save us. "Let go of what binds you," Marisol urged, her voice steady yet laced with the tremor of fear. "This portal draws strength from your decisions, your willingness to confront those who have shaped you." From the corner of my vision, I caught the outlines of Jason looming in the haze of shadows. The golden glow he emulated waned and flickered, drawn toward the dark figure of Alex, as if seeking some intangible connection. The conflict within me surged, caught between a love I had thought was lost and a bond that had formed anew through pain and sacrifice, but then, just as I reached for Jason, something profound shifted in the air, a thread snapped, sending tendrils of chaos arcing around me. The shadows deepened, fraying the connection we had begun to forge and exhilarate. "Be careful," Marisol warned, stepping forward in an act of bravery, feet planted firmly, channeling her energy into the light with both hands aglow. Every choice you make now has the power to mend or unravel. Both figures, Jason and Alex, intertwined within my consciousness, tugging at remnants of affection, pain, and the previously unacknowledged tremors of my reality. And as I struggled to maintain clarity, I felt the weight of those layers shifting within me, the crumbling foundation of who I once believed I was transforming into something barely recognizable. "I will not abandon you, Jason," I declared with newfound resolve, grounding myself in the present as I stepped beyond the regrets of the past. "We will find a way, together." But Alex, my heart quivered at the thought of closing this chapter without truly understanding its significance. "You are a part of me, embedded within these scars. Together, we can overcome this cycle." The air swirled violently, dragging my words into the shadows as Jason's voice echoed a silent plea. "I don't want to be lost." With one final glance at Alex, now becoming an ephemeral whisper amid the shroud of darkness, I focused on the warmth of Jason, the only tangible truth anchored in my heart. "Then find me," I whispered, feeling the magnetic pull of our connection resonate, urging me to reach deeper, to fight harder. But as I felt the energy begin to shift back towards the light, the walls trembled again, quaking with an impending revelation. The space around us pulsed ominously, each breath punctuated by the fear of potential collapse. The stark juxtaposition between healing and heartbreak stretched taut in the charged atmosphere. And as the light surged forward with renewed urgency, a chilling voice echoed behind me, brittle as glass, yet vibrant with wrath. "You think you can change fate?" I turned. The shadows writhed, and in that terrifying moment, I realized the intrusion wasn't merely a reflection of my history but a strike against the very threads binding our souls. But would it leave us shattered or woven as one? The shadows shimmered and danced, creating an unsettling silhouette that filled the air with palpable dread and sorrow. I turned slowly to face the source of that voice, my heart racing anew. The figure emerging from the mist was neither Alex nor Jason, but a woman cloaked in darkness, her presence a vortex of bitterness that seemed to draw in the very light around her. "Who are you?" I managed to stammer, the vibrancy of my determination wavering at the edges, caught in the web of her fury. "I am a ghost of decisions unmade," she replied, each word piercing the dim atmosphere. "You wish to change your fate? To mend a love that has already been broken? How naive." Her laughter was a haunting echo that skittered along the walls, each note tinged with a melody of lament. She was familiar, yet alien, a reflection of despair molded by choices I hadn't made. Her features were sharp and regal, a haunting reminder of what I could have been had I fully embraced my past with Alex instead of dodging the heartache that shadowed us both. "Memories entangle us," she continued, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly fire. "You tread where angels fear to dance. To heal, you must uncover the darkest truths hidden in this decay. Only then can you hope to walk away." "I can't believe you," I shot back, anger igniting a flicker of courage deep within. "I refuse to accept that love can only coalesce amidst hopelessness." "You are not yet ready to confront the truth," she hissed, advancing with an unsettling grace. "You cling to the notion of redemption, thinking you can pluck hope from ashes. But those who have been burned do not escape unscathed." I shifted, glancing back at Marisol, anchoring myself in the flicker of her faith, her unwavering presence urging me to stand tall against the gale of despair. "You don't know me. I won't let your fears imprint upon my reality." "No." The woman smirked, and for a moment, the shadows around her pulsed like a heartbeat, like a shared memory. "But they are part of you, woven into the fabric of who you are. The scars, the mistakes, the love you let slip away. They haunt your every decision, and if you dive into this miasma, I promise you, you will find." There was a rustle behind me, a whisper from Jason that pierced the fog, trembling yet fierce. "Don't listen to her. Remember your heart, it is your guide." His voice pulsed through my veins, igniting within me the spark that would forge through the darkness. My thoughts reeled. How was it that, even trapped, he could reach out with tenderness, bearing the weight of faith still intact, in that second, amidst the molding shadows and resentful echoes, the clarity jolted through me. I want to be defined by what binds us to suffering. I yelled, invoking the memory of Alex, of the laughter we had shared, of the pulse of life that had once throbbed between us. In response, the woman's laughter transformed into a chilling crescendo that echoed ominously, vibrating through the very bones of the ancient chamber. Foolish girl. You do not realize the cage you've crafted for yourself. It won't be long before you find the truth, a truth so harrowing you will wish to run back into oblivion rather than face it. Just then, the air around us shifted, swirls of clarity emerging from the obscurity as vibrant strands of memory floated into view. They glimmered, a kaleidoscope of moments shared with Alex and Jason, the shimmer of love and laughter mingled with shadows of pain that I dared to reach out and grasp one, a fragment trapped within the darkness. As my fingers brushed against the light, a rush of voices flooded my mind, cascading like a waterfall. You must remember, they whispered, tugging at threads of my heart, wrapping them tightly around one vivid moment, a summer day spent beneath the awning of the cafe where we first brought our souls together. Breathless, I clung to the memory, feeling its warmth envelop me, beckoning me to confront the truth in all its beauty and fragility. I choose to remember, I whispered fiercely, and to forge a future that is mine. But shadows swirled, and in their vortex, the woman's laughter morphed into a tempest of anguished wails. Then bear the weight of your choices. Watch as they spiral into a heart-wrenching truth. Before I could react, the shadows writhed violently, crashing against the light, enveloping me in chaos. And as the ground trembled beneath my feet, the walls of the chamber bulged, breathing with a life of their own, whispering secrets I wasn't ready to uncover. No! I screamed as the memories around me blurred, the glow of hope dimming beneath the weight of darkness. Let me see. Let me choose. But as my voice echoed, the chamber suddenly collapsed into a whirlwind of sound and light, and a stunning silence descended, the kind that tugs at your very core, leaving you hollow in the void of uncertainty. The world around me shimmered at the edges, the silhouettes of Jason and Alex merging with the veil between time and reality, and in that moment of encroaching desolation, that flicker of unexpected kindness slipped through, leaving a chilling question haunting the silence. Are you prepared to uncover the heart-wrenching secrets buried within your soul? As everything faded into the unknown, the last vestiges of illumination sputtered, and my heart plummeted into the vast darkness. The silence enveloped me like a shroud, thick and suffocating, as the remnants of the chamber dissolved into shadows. I felt weightless, suspended in a treacherous void where the past melded with possibility, hope intertwined with despair. Every breath became a struggle against the swirling memories clawing at my mind, longing to be released. When the world finally solidified around me, I found myself standing on a desolate street in Pompeii, its ancient stones slick with rain and washed away sorrow. The outlines of the brothel emerged as silhouettes behind sheets of regarded green, decaying memories still vivid within their stone cage. In the corners of the structure, the laughter of those who once inhabited this realm echoed, tinged with naive joy and untold heartbreak, that I felt a yearning pull within the depths of my heart, drawing me back to the entrance of the brothel, a threshold between what I wished to embrace and the truth I feared. Each tentative step forward reverberated with uncertainty, sending shivers through the warm air, rippling with the shattered remains of love and loss. As I arrived at the threshold, I was met by a flicker of movement, catching my breath. A familiar figure emerged from the shadows, drenched but resolute. It was Marisol, her outstretched hand inviting me toward her like a lighthouse amidst the storm. "Are you all right?" she asked, eyes glistening with unspoken worry. The tremors in her voice echoed my own fears, a reflection of our intertwined journeys. I nodded, the surge of gratitude swelling within me. "I think I am on the verge of discovery, and it's terrifying," I admitted, my voice a fragile thread against the backdrop of ancient stones. "There is something here I need to see, but I don't know if I'm ready." Marisol stepped closer, her warmth radiating in my direction. "You're stronger than you realize. Sometimes we must tread through the darkness to find a path back to the light. Whatever you uncover, remember that you're not alone." Her encouragement was a balm upon my chaotic heart, reigniting that flicker of hope within me. As we entered the brothel, time seemed to suspend, the air grew heavy with memories layered like the dust that clung to the walls. The interior unveiled a world enshrined in intimacy, a place once alive with unrestrained laughter and clandestine promises. Faded murals adorned the walls, ornate depictions of desire mingling with sorrow. But rather than a world of fantasy, I felt the somber weight of the lives lived here. Past souls seemed to whisper from the walls, their stories begging to be acknowledged. I in the center of the room, the opulent bed beckoned, draped in crimson fabric that seemed to soak up the ghostly light. I approached hesitantly, heart pounding, yearning for a glimpse of the memories locked within this space. As I stood there, a whisper brushed against my ear, soft yet piercing, reverberating through my very core. To heal, you must confront what has been buried, the love that once was. My gaze sharpened, I found the edges of the past shimmering at the foot of the bed. Suddenly, a series of images erupted in my mind, a cascade of vivid recollections unfolding. Alex's laughter, the warmth of his gaze heavy with unspoken words, danced across my thoughts. In these fragments of time, I felt an energy buzzing between us, a connection marked not just by joy but by the misunderstandings that had come to define our love. Just as clarity pierced through the fog, an overwhelming sorrow wrapped around me, tightening its grip on my heart. I gasped, stumbling back, struggling to reconcile the moments of beauty with the painful truths they harbored. My stomach twisted as the memories coalesced into faces, each one familiar yet tinged with regret. And then, a new image sprang forth: Jason. His smile, like the sun breaking through dark clouds, filled my insides with warmth yet reminded me of the looming shadow of guilt I had carried for him. How intertwined our fates were, yet so fractured by choices that haunted both our hearts. No. I gasped aloud, clenching my fists. Grasping desperately at the fragments of clarity that threatened to slip through my fingers. This wasn't just about love, it was a tangled web of heartache stretching across time. I had to protect Jason, but at what cost to my own heart? Marisol grabbed my shoulders, her presence stabilizing in my storm of emotions. "You're feeling it, aren't you?" she urged gently, her eyes never leaving mine. "The love, its beauty and its pain. You have to confront this turmoil, even if it tears at you. There's no escaping it." With apprehension threaded through my thoughts, I nodded, willing to push through the tempest that raged within me. But just as I grasped the courage to face the turmoil, shadows erupted from the corners of the room. The woman's laughter echoed like dark thunder rolling through the chamber. "There is no running from the past," she taunted, her figure materializing beside me, the very essence of my fears. "You wanted to uncover secrets, now the truth rises like the ashes of Pompeii. Will you face what is buried deep in your soul, or will it drown you?" The walls throbbed with trembling energy, visions swirling before me like a chaotic canvas. Each choice, each heart-wrenching moment began to crash against me, and I could feel the looming dread. A revelation awaited, one that could shatter everything I believed about love, loss, and the impossible choices entwined in our history. As the chamber began to close in, I stood at the precipice of revelation, grappling with the unbearable weight of the past. Would I reveal the heart-wrenching truths I had been avoiding, or would I be consumed by the very shadows I had sought to illuminate? In that moment, a haunting sigh broke through the tempest of uncertainty, one that carried the resonance of love lost and found. My heart raced, the world shifting violently as the walls trembled with anticipation, and I stumbled upon the edge of a new precipice. With bated breath, I awaited the secrets poised to unravel, knowing that one final choice could send everything spiraling into a destiny I had yet to grasp. The tempest in my mind stilled for the briefest instant, a moment of eerie calm before the storm broke anew. Marisol stood resolute beside me, her expression shifting from concern to fierce determination. Out of the shadows, a comforting warmth seemed to envelop her, urging me to find strength within her presence. "Close your eyes," she whispered, her voice a gentle caress against the chaos. "Listen to the rhythm of the past, let it guide you. The answers lie within you." I took a shaky breath, feeling the weight of her words encircle my heart, and hesitated only for a heartbeat before I shut my eyes and surrendered to the symphony of whispers encircling me. The air shimmered with voices of those who had walked this path long before me, lovers and dreamers united and torn apart by capitulating desire and bitter loss. Each sound wrapped around me, growing stronger, daring me to confront the truth. Images cascaded once more, and I found myself standing not in Pompeii's shadows, but under a canopy of stars, touching the stars that breathed life into my memories. I felt Alex's presence again, vibrant and unapologetically alive, laughter spilling from his lips like sparkling wine. It was a moment untouched by sorrow, a whisper of joy standing in stark contrast to the heaviness of my heart, but then his laughter faded, drenching the night in shadows. I felt the ground beneath me tremble and shift, a subtle reminder of unfulfilled promises tethered to my soul. The warm glow of our shared moments twisted into haunting echoes that pricked at my conscience. What happens when the past is revealed? The voice of doubt taunted. Will you be brave enough to face what lies beneath the thrill of love? I opened my eyes, gasping as the weight of this question sank deep within me. What if I'm too broken? I whispered to Marisol, panic crawling up my spine. What if the truth shatters everything? Her brow furrowed, yet her gaze softened with empathy. Facing it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're healing. Trust yourself. In her words, I found an ember of strength that ignited, urging me forward. The energy in the room began to swirl, gathering momentum, swirling around us like a vibrant tapestry woven by pain and hope. And then, amid the riot, I heard the voice again, soft, yet powerful. To uncover the truth, you must embrace all that you are. The moment was electric, surging through me with an undeniable call. Suddenly, the room blurred, and I was no longer alone. Jason's figure stepped forward, his face illuminated by flickers of past light, vulnerable yet steadfast. His presence flooded my senses with warmth. Don't forget about me, he whispered, each word a soothing balm to my conflicted heart. There is so much I want to show you, but you have to be honest with yourself first. Oh Jason, my voice cracked, emotions collapsing like a fragile house of cards. I thought I lost you too. Only if you choose to turn away from your truth, he replied softly, piercing my heart with understanding. I'm here, you know that deep down. Together, we can find our way through this. How daring it felt to surrender to that possibility, but the overwhelming guilt clawed at my resolve. I wish I could disregard my past with Alex, but how can I embrace a future when I've yet to reconcile what I've lost? It was out, spilling like bitter poison, and I felt the fear woven through my confession. Jason stepped closer, the distance between us collapsing. What you lost does not define what you can have. Love is not a finite resource, it grows, morphs, evolves. Allow yourself the grace to feel it all. We can breathe life into something beautiful together. Tears streamed down my cheeks, and for the first time amidst the chaos, I felt a flicker of hope unfurling deep within me, a reminder that despite the weight of my storms, a glimmer of possibility remained alive. Yet in that fleeting moment of connection, the shadows loomed once more, dark tendrils reaching across the chamber. The laughter of the woman echoed, a sinister reminder of the truths lurking just beneath the surface. What will you choose, child of past and present? Happiness or pain? Your heart cannot house both. The laughter morphed into an anguished cry that sent chills racing down my spine. The walls of the brothel trembled violently, and I could see flashes of old scars, echoes of heartbreak that marred the boisterous life that once thrived here. They clawed at my spirit, demanding acknowledgement, retribution for years of neglecting their presence. Marisol's grip on my arm tightened, anchoring me amidst the disorienting chaos. You must choose, she urged, her voice rising above the din. Not just to confront the past, but to rewrite your narrative. What do you want your story to be? The urgency hung in the air like an electrified current, and as I stood at the crossroads of past and future, every heartbeat thundered like a battle drum, a restless dance of uncertainty that demanded resolution. But before I could muster an answer, an unnatural crackling filled the air, as though the very earth beneath Pompeii gasped in anticipation. I turned, the vibration sending tremors through my core, and caught a glimpse of a shadow emerging from the depths, a figure cloaked in darkness and regret, a haunting semblance of those I had lost, spiraling toward me like a harbinger of inevitable truth. Are you ready to confront who you really are? It whispered, the words echoing through the chamber as the ground trembled beneath us. But what lay shrouded in that shadow, buried within the sins of the past? And was I truly prepared to lay bare the fragments of my heart? As light and darkness collided in that ancient room, I felt the suffocating embrace of my own uncertainty close in. The secret I had dreaded was reaching out, and the moment of reckoning approached, a choice that could irrevocably change the course of my life. The shadow loomed closer, revealing the haunted faces of those I had loved, lost, and failed to understand while entwining destinies twisted by time and sorrow. I staggered back, the weight of their gazes an anchor pulling me into the depths of anguish I had buried long ago. Alex's soft smile, Jason's querying eyes, and the shadowy figure of Lucretia melded into a bittersweet symphony, drowning me in unresolved fractures that warped the very essence of my being. "Face us," the shadow implored, its voice a gentle caress that carried with it the chill of despair. "We can't rest until you voice what lies hidden beneath your heart." Their words stirred an urgency deep within me. These ghosts were not merely figments of my imagination, they were echoes of the love I had tried so desperately to suppress. Each one, a piece of my tapestry, laced with both nectar and poison. As the air thickened with tension, a chill of recognition washed over me. The shadows of grief cloaked in love were unyielding, demanding acknowledgement, and in a moment of piercing clarity, I understood. This was the reckoning, the convergence of my past and present, a crucial juncture where only honesty could usher forth healing. "Okay," I breathed, my voice trembling as I steadied myself against the overwhelming weight of their presence. "I'm ready to confront what I've buried. I'm ready to give voice to my fears, my loves, my regrets." A storm of emotions tightened around me like a vice, yet they ignited in a cathartic blaze, illuminating my soul. I took a step forward, allowing vulnerability to wash over me like a tidal wave. "I'm sorry, Alex. For every moment I ran away, for every opportunity one squandered to explore what we could have been. I was terrified of losing you, of losing myself in the shadows." Time froze, a suspended breath hovering amidst the echoes of betrayal, regret, and unfulfilled moments unconfined in the atmosphere. For the first time, I felt it take shape, a fragile piece stringing together those impossibly fragmented parts. Alex's figure shimmering between anguish and acceptance, as if his silent prayers had been lifted from the depths, almost tangible. "There's nothing to forgive," he replied, voice pulsing with the ancient wisdom of the ages. "But you must learn to forgive yourself." The shadows shifted, the atmosphere thickening like a stifled breath. "And what about me?" Jason's voice broke through the chaos, mournful and alive, urging me to acknowledge the tether I had forged anew. "I can't grasp what was lost, unable to write this journey without your honesty at its core." A wave of anguish washed through me as I stared into the depths of his eyes, innocent of past failures, yet haunted by the trajectory of paths yet to be traveled. "I feared losing you, too. I was caught in the collision of memories and affection, but not allowing myself to grieve either love nor pain. I kept you at arm's length to shield my heart, but in doing so I cheapened the beauty of what we had." The air hummed as my words lingered, weighty yet liberating, unraveling like thread unspooling on a vintage sewing machine. "Forgive me for holding back, kept at bay by unresolved grief. I yearned to shield my heart but failed to recognize the gift of your presence." Jason's expression shifted, realization illuminating his features. "It's not too late," he urged gently, stepping forward. "You have the power to mend the fractures, to bring light back into that darkness." Suddenly, triggered by the urgency of the moment, my heart surged yet again with an insistent call. "But I don't know how to bring closure to your past," I whispered, panic flickering with the trepidation of earlier. "What if the shadows that linger cast me into darkness, never truly revealing the light?" The woman's shadow closed in, a cursed shell easing toward me. "You dare question your own strength, yet fail to understand that battling through shadows births tremendous light." It towered, an embodiment of pain urging me forward, inviting confrontation. "Will you allow your truths to heal, or will you let scars dictate your choices forever?" I swallowed hard, knowing I stood at the precipice of a moment I dared not evade. I choose to embrace what I desire, I declared, defiantly reclaiming my voice amidst the swirling tempest of anguish. There, in that cathartic release, I recognized the culmination of everything I yearned for, not only in the entangled webs of my past but across the uncertain horizons of my future. With a deeper breath, I exhaled what felt like lifetimes woven from both despair and love. I choose to forgive the past, to embrace the love I once shared, and to build something beautiful moving forward. Letting go does not erase, it redeems. I will make room for love, as it grows beyond the depths of my grief. In that moment, the shadows shimmered yet again, swirling gracefully around me with newfound tenderness. The warmth enveloped me like a gentle embrace, harmonizing the bonds that had once felt frayed. The woman's resonant laughter echoed once more, laden now with sincerity. And thus, healing shall begin. As the fragments of the past encircled us like ethereal silk, the walls shivered, acknowledging the dissolution of old chains binding broken ties. I felt hearts intertwining, ancient souls joining together in a palpable heartbeat, each thrum catalyzing new beginnings even amidst the wounds. My heart brimmed with profound emotion, a balance struck between grief and hope, past and present. As the air shimmered with possibility, I turned my attention toward Jason, offering a smile steeped in vulnerability and renewed warmth. He shimmered with life among the echoes of history, beckoning me forward. Together, we'll illuminate our paths, I whispered as our hands intertwined, creating a tether stronger than shadows and shared regrets. Let the chorus of lost souls guide us. And as the ancient walls enveloped us in their embrace, a whisper vibrated within my heart, a hope unfurling, soaring with the potential of love yet to come. I was ready to turn the page, write my narrative anew, and bask in its breathtaking authenticity. In that stirring moment, I felt fractured pieces ascend from obscured memories, lost souls weaving love and heartache into a legacy aglow with hopeful yearning. So we took that step together, each footfall echoing resolute and true, toward horizons not defined by loss, but forging the path forward with each gasp and murmur of the life we would create. The choice is ours, I thought. And through the darkness, we shall find our way back into the light. As we ventured forth, shadows lifted, replaced with the tranquil glow of dawn, a soft and unyielding promise that the heart can rewrite even time's cruelest plotlines through the enduring strength of love. Amor vincit omnia, I silently promised as my voice cascaded into the stillness. Love conquers all.